Hello, everybody.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Good to see all these familiar faces in the chat. We have Ferry, Sean, Steve, Tim helping out. Thank you so much. Tim Bot, still unsure if you're a bot or a real person. How's it going, everybody? Good to see you. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm in beautiful San Francisco, California. Kladi, where are you?
I'm currently in Manchester, UK, where it's still a lovely day. We had a wonderful sunny week. Pretty unbelievable for the weather here, but it's actually very nice. And let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from.
Nice, sunny Manchester. I never thought I would hear those words together. Yeah, so it looks like we have, yeah, great to see you too, Steve, Sean. Awesome. A lot of people saying hello in the chat. And pretty soon we're going to start seeing where everybody is tuning in from. We have a fun-filled day for you today. We're going to work with Photoshop and Illustrator. But before we get started, Kladi, why don't you switch over to my screen if we're not there yet? And that way, I can show you guys what Rework It is all about and show you how to submit your own files. In case you haven't watched Rework It before, this is a show where Kladi and myself show you how to rework your Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign files. We give you professional tips and tricks to help you improve your projects. And the way to submit your work is through this website, iamkladi.com/reworkit. iamkladi.com/reworkit. This is what the page looks like. And all you need to do is click on this button to submit your design. All you need to do is enter your email, add your files, your name, your Behance profile. Very, very important to submit your Behance profile. We've had some submissions with no Behance profile, so we do want to promote you. So if you don't have a Behance profile, make sure you create one. It's free, and you can include your work that you submit as your first project if you like. Also, we have a data consent. You have to agree to let us use the file during the stream and let us know which apps you've used to create the file. And if you have any specific questions or issues, you can let us know in the comments. Also very important, if you're submitting a Photoshop document, make sure that you submit a layered PSD. And if the file is too big, you can drop a Dropbox link or a Google Drive link or something like that into the comment box, and then we can download the file that way. And obviously make sure that you hit the submit button so that you can have an opportunity to be featured on Rework It. And I can see that a lot of people are already commenting in the chat. Kladi, I'm sure you've been keeping tabs on that. We have we have General Kenobi watching from a certain point of view, Ferry from Indonesia. Cool. Yeah, we have Donovan from Houston, Texas. Nice. Good to see you, Donovan. So yeah, we have people from all over the world watching, and it should be a fun day. Kladi, I think we're going to start with you today.
Yes, let's jump it into my screen. And Jesus, thank you so much for sharing how to submit your file. So go ahead, submit. And of course, I can see our beloved Steve Festus in the chat. And as we know, streaming from the other side of the world in New Zealand, at least the other side of the world from me. It's a little bit closer to you.
Yeah, I guess you are closer to me, Steve. Yes, that's right.
Fantastic.
I'm trying to figure out which way is shorter, going east or west, but I guess I am closer.
And as usual, I want to remind it that if you are watching from YouTube, make sure to head down to behance.net/live so we can read your comments, say hello. And remember, this is a safe space to learn together. So any question you may have, any doubts, any info, feel free to shoot them in the chat, and me and Jesus are going to keep our eyes right there on the chat waiting for your questions. So we look forward to them.
Yeah. But we have, let me just give a shout out to Lisette from the rainy Netherlands. And then Steve is saying that, I guess by 10,000 kilometers, I'm closer or something like that.
Fantastic. So as you can see, I'm already on my screen, and that's where we left it up yesterday. We were talking about the beautiful and fun color.adobe.com. And if you weren't here with us yesterday, don't worry, I'm just gonna recap it a little bit before jumping into the actual file. So what I left you with was a game. In fact, if you just fancy a break while you work, head on color.adobe.com and then click on this little icon here. I'm just gonna zoom in so you can see it. It's like a color wheel, and it's called the color game. And I actually had one of those games. I don't know if you had one of those, Jesús, in the past, but I had like an electronic one, early 90s, where you had a light flashing on, and then you had to repeat the pattern of the color coming on, and that's exactly how this game starts, how this game works. So once you click on start, you gotta watch all the color that goes on and off, and then you have to repeat it. I love it. I think it's a fantastic way to take a creative break while you learn about color, and maybe you get inspired from new shades of color to use from your for your project.
Also, I just want to let people know that Sam just posted the link in the chat, so you can click on that so you can see the page that Kladi is looking at. Also, if you're watching a recording and the link is no longer available, fun fact, you can use the word color in the URL color.adobe.com in either the American or British spelling. It'll get you to the same page.
Ooh, that's super cool. I didn't know that. That's really amazing. And something else I wanted to show you about this website is that also hosts the dark mode. So you can either view it in a dark mode or into a light mode, depending on your preferences, which is, I think, super cool when working with color. You can really ease your eyes. And yesterday we left it into creating. So besides creating colors using the color wheels and color harmonies, we can extract themes and gradient using your own photos. So as I said yesterday, I kind of was going a little bit fast with it, but I'm going to show you real quick. Click on extract theme to then head to this drop down where you can click on select a file, and all you have to do is select a file from your machine. I have this photo took a create Adobe Max, I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. I don't remember, but I love this color. I love this photo because it's full of colors. And as you can see, Adobe Color will automatically pick up a color theme for you, but then you can simply click and drag any of this color picker to move it in another direction. If you maybe see that a couple color are repeated, I can see that there were 2 shades of pink, so I just want to integrate a little bit of a red. Or again, you can move it and select any color you like in order to tailor your favorite palette. And then all you have to do is to select a destination folder, which it will be in your Creative Cloud library. And in this case, I'm going to use my test library. That's where I have all my the mixed miscellaneous assets. And then you can also give it a name. I'm going to call it Kladi Adobe Max, and simply click on save. Once we do so, let's get back and jump into our Illustrator and head in our libraries. And by the way, if you do not see the libraries panel inside your Illustrator app, all you have to do is to head to the window menu and then select libraries. And remember, anytime that you watch a tutorial, you join here at Adobe Live and you look at a workspace and you cannot find the panel that the streamer is talking about, the window menu is the home of all the panels. So make sure to head on window menu and you will find the panel there. And that's just a general tip to make sure that you can work faster. Right, now we are already into my test library, and as you can see, the Kladi Adobe Max color palette that we've just created is ready for us to use. A step further, in order to include it into our document, is to right click on it and then click add theme to swatches. And let's see what happened. Before doing so, actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring up this swatches panel. And you guessed it, I will find the swatches panel under window. So I'm going to go ahead and choose window and swatches to open the swatches panel. And then I'm going to click and drag on the corner of the window to make sure that we have a full view of the swatches. And now I can right click into my color theme inside the library generated thanks to the Adobe Color, and then select add theme to swatches. And as you can see, in just one click, we have this color theme right away inside our swatches. And I wanted to go through this process because I wanted to show you how you can then recolor the artwork using the color theme. All you're left to do is to press the letter V to activate the selection tool and then click and drag over your illustration in order to select it. or you can also press Command A on a Mac, that's Control A on Windows, to select all the elements of the all the elements and all the graphics that are present inside your artboard. Then head under Edit and Edit Colors and Recolor Artwork. From here, you will be able to move around the color relationships by dragging the hues on the color wheel, just like so. So you can see the relationship between the colors is the same, but we're actually going to change the hues, just like so. And if you're not happy with the changes, I actually really love this brown and green. Let me zoom in because I think it looks very, very lovely color combination. But if you're not happy with it, you can also click on Reset to bring it back to its original color. And then let me show you a little bit more on how to access the advanced options for the Recolor panel. All you have to do is to click on Advanced Options, and here you're going to be able to change one color at a time simply by clicking on the color, double clicking on the color, and the color picker will pop up. And from here you can select any color of your choice and click on OK, and you will see the color will be automatically changed inside your illustration because we have the Recolor Art ticked. So that's pretty much like a preview, what is usually called preview in other panels. I'm going to zoom in, so just in case if you do not see the preview and the changes happening live inside your graphic, is because you do not have this Recolor Artwork option selected. So make sure to select it and you will see the edits will happen live as you work on them. I'm going to zoom out and show you another fantastic way in which you can very quickly change the colors following the new palette that we've created. So all we have to do in that case is simply to select the new color harmony that is present in our swatches. Remember, in order to leverage a color theme and apply it to your graphic and being able to recolor your entire graphic, you need first to add the color theme inside your swatches. So just what we did before, we need to have a color theme saved in the swatches so it will appear in the color groups on the right side of the panel. And then once you have your color there, all you're left to do is to click once, and as you can see, our beautiful color will be applied to the illustration. You can also change the way that the color are distributed. So for example, if you want to use the orange where the brown are, all you have to do is to click and drag the color in order to swap their orders, just like so. And you can try again and again until you're happy with the final combination. Of course, if there is a particular color that you're not happy with, I know we're transforming this lovely lady into a little alien, you can also use the hue slider. So you can select any of the color that you are working on, and then you can change its hue simply by using the hue slider. And also you can work on the saturation and the brightness, just like so, using the slider below. And then when you're done, click on OK. And again, it's going to ask you to save the changes in the swatch color group just because we swapped the color around. I don't necessarily need to do that. I want to keep the same order. If you wish to do so, click on OK, click on yes. If you don't, just click on no. It's not going to affect your illustration. And you're done. In literally a few clicks, we have took a color from my postcard and then apply the same color to our image. And that's a fantastic way to match assets. So let's see that the image and the postcard that we use to leverage the color with Adobe Colors, with color.adobe.com, and this illustration needed to go on the same web page. By doing so, you ensure that you have created a consistent palette throughout your artwork. But let me show you another way in which you can recolor in just one click. I'm going to press Command Z to undo and go back to my original colors. And by the way, let me give another shout out. I know that we showed his profile yesterday, but I want to go ahead and show Malik's profile again, because as we say all the time, Rework It is all about you. So Malik Assad was the person that created this illustration of this lovely lady working on her laptop, and that's his Behance. Make sure to go and give him a follow at behance.net/MalikAssad1. Here it is, and you can see that that's the illustration that we're working on with a finished up with an actual background. But let me go and show you how you can also recolor an image using the postcard in a much faster way. So all I'm gonna do here is to use the shortcut. Oops, it looks like I've activated the grid. If that happens to you, so I literally pressed Shift P instead of Command P, and look what happened. I've activated the perspective grid. If that ever happens to you, Don't worry, that's a very easy fix. Don't get scared. I know things can get weird with the perspective grid, but all you have to do is to click under view, and then you will find the perspective grid option and simply select on hide grid and it'll disappear. So you're safe and sound, and that's the beauty of the live. We get to discover things that happen in everyday workflow. Is there any question there, Jesus, on the chat?
I don't see any questions on the chat. Let me scroll up. Oops, I accidentally clicked away from it. Sorry. Yep.
It's all right. I'm going to keep going.
Keep going.
Feel free to interrupt me if there is any question.
Definitely.
So I wanted to bring in the image here from my desktop, and in order to do that, I'm going to use the shortcut Shift Command P. So before, as I said, I did it wrong because I used the shortcut Shift P, and the right shortcut is Shift Command P. There will be Shift Control P if you're working on a window, and that will allow you to open the Place dialog box. Now I'm going to go ahead and select my desktop and click on the postcard that I was using earlier, and then simply click on Place. As you can see, the postcard is now loaded inside my selector, and all I have to do is to click and drag in my document in order to place it. Right, now I'm going to click and drag over the illustration in order to select it and select all its elements, and I'm going to head back to Edit, Edit Color, and Recolor Artwork. And now we're going to stop here and use this new Recolor Artwork workspace to trigger the color theme picker. The color theme picker will allow you to select and lift the color palette from any other image, and that can be a rasterized image, so a photo or a vector graphic. All we have to do is to click on the color theme picker and then click on the photo that we would like to use. And as you can see, in just a second, Illustrator has applied the colors that are present into my postcard to my illustration. And if you're not happy with the color distribution, you can go ahead and change the prominent colors. So we have a lot of pinks. And what if we want to reduce the pink? Simply use this little slider here to make sure that we have less pink, and maybe we can bring up a little bit more of the purples or the browns, depending on what is the color combination that you wish to display on your image. And as you can see, it's super easy and super fast. And as I said before, you can see the changes happening right away. But my eye has been caught from the chat because I saw our lovely friend Lisa Carney in the chat. Lisa,
hey,
ciao
Lisa.
Bella. I miss you. Nice to see you. Go and check out Lisa portfolio. She's an amazing, Susan. I know that you can define better Lisa role and her beauty and extent.
She kicks butt. That's how I would describe Lisa.
Yes,
she's a professional. A finisher, right? So I was gonna say, I always think of her like a Mortal Kombat character, like she's got finishing moves.
Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and check.
Let me see. I was gonna pull up Lisa's website, so let me just pull it up. You can find Lisa at lisacarney.com, and you can see all her work there. She's got amazing portfolios. You can find her training there. She does a lot of training with Creative Live, like you just recently did. I don't know if you mentioned it on Rework It, but Kladi, you just have a brand new course on Creative Live that went up this week.
Yes. Jesus, I need to pay you for some PR because I forget about the things that I do. If you want to find my things, go on and follow Jesus because he's always very kind in sharing them. Yes, I have a new course actually in Illustrator, and how to create marketing materials in Illustrator. And maybe Jesus, I don't know if you can find the link. We can share it afterwards when I finish off. We can share the link. But yeah, I just had. It just launched it yesterday, so it's very, very new and it's very exciting. I think it was playing for free, at least yesterday. So go ahead and check it out on Creative Live. It was an amazing experience.
Definitely. So make sure you check out Kladi and Lisa both on Creative Live.
Fantastic. And now I'm gonna go.
And before we move on, there is one question, Kladi.
Sure.
The question is from Murray. He's asking, I have a question, Illustrator related. With regards to swatches, the swatch you just saved to the swatches panel will be available to you in Illustrator if you open or work on another project.
So no, the swatch will not be forever available for you, but there is a way in which you can save swatches. So a way in which you can save swatches in your file is to save it as an Illustrator file, or you can save it in the most common format, which is ASE. And let me show you how to do that. So once you're done with your recoloring your artwork, just simply press the letter V to activate the selection tool and click anywhere into your pasteboard, and the Recolor Artwork panel will disappear. And now let's show how we can save these color palettes. So first of all, I strongly recommend you to have it inside your libraries. In that case, you're going to be able to drag it in any document that you're working on, and it will be available not only in Illustrator but throughout your Creative Cloud apps. But if you do wish to save this specific color palette in order to bring it up and make it available inside your swatches panel, all you have to do is to first of all select it, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see this panel nice and big, just like so. So as you can see, all I did is click on the folder to select it, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on the little libraries to activate the menu. And the very first menu that you can see is Save Swatches. Now I'm going to zoom out so we can see the full swatches menu, save menu. Select a folder in your computer, and then again you can decide to save it as a swatch.ai. In this case, this will be an Illustrator file that contains the swatches, and you can also save it as a template by then adding a little cheeky T at the end of your extension. So AIT will transform it into a template ready for you to use as many times as you want. Or you can click on this down pointing arrow drop down menu to select it as an SAE, which is not available here. So let me see which is the other option to do so. Oh, where is that SAE save? I think I'm missing something.
Well, you looked that up, Kladi. Let me answer a question in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Stephen is asking, I tried to upload a zip to Kladi's site yesterday, but it kept saying I hadn't attached a file. Is there a size limit? There is a size limit. I don't recall what it is. If you're having issues, Stephen, what I recommend that you do is just save it into a Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that. And then in the comments, just include that link on there so that we can still get the file if you have reached the file limit that the website has. Okay,
so I had a little bit of a fuzzy moment in my brain. You can save it as a .ai by the swatch library menu, or I finally remember how to do it. Click on the library and then click on the top flyout menu here in order to save library as a ASE, which is the standard extension for a color palette. So that will be the best way to doing so. As you can see, my Mac is thinking, and here it is. Again, just simply you can select the destination folder. I'm going to place it on my desktop, and that's the extension that you're looking for, .sae. And you can give it a name, call it whatever you want, and then click on save. Now the beauty is that once you do save the swatches, you can then bring it in and pretty much open it from the swatch library simply by selecting open swatch library, other library, and find it in your computer and bring it on. So then it will be present inside your swatch library, just like that. So there are ways in which you can bring it in. It's not automatic unless you save them. That's the short answer. I just wanted to show you how to do that. But now I know I got just 5 minutes, but I really want to show off another amazing work. And again, Rework It is not only about giving you tips, but also how to show off the work. And I want to show off the work of Joshua Zaragoza. That's an amazing designer. We can see this lovely illustration here. And the reason why I wanted to show you this illustration is because it's pretty similar to what we saw yesterday. We had a flat illustration, and I'm going to delete this copy that I was creating while I was playing with the file. And Joshua, as much as Malik, did create all these amazing layers containing all the different elements, which is exactly what Malik did, but he left them then independent. So every single element is now still in its folder. And let me show you what happened, which unfortunately is probably what happened to Malik. If I go and press Command G to group them, they will be all falling inside one single layer. So we do not have the layers anymore. Press just Command Z to undo, and let me show you how we can group it without having any issue with the layers. So what I'm going to do here is to click and drag over the illustration to select it, and press Command C on a Mac, that's Control C on a Windows to copy. And then I'm going to go ahead on a new layer. I'm going to lock the original layer. If you do not know how to create a new layer, simply click on the plus icon located at the bottom of the layers panel, and then select the new layer and press Command V to copy your illustration. Then I'm going to click on the background and click on delete to delete it, because I want to show you how to transform this gorgeous illustration into a sticker. I have this question very often, Kladi, how do I transform an illustration that has disconnected graphic into one single element? So basically, if you send this element to your printer of choice, it's either going to come back with a round or a square shape. But what if you want to create a sticker that has the exact cutout shape of your illustration, and at the same time contain all these elements that are flying around inside your element? Let me show you how to do that. It's super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag over my illustration, and then press Command G to group it. Then I'm going to press Command C to copy it and Command F to paste it in front. I'm going to then head to my properties menu and look for the Pathfinder options. From here, click on the very first icon to unite all the shapes. So we literally build one single shape out of the full illustration. Then from here, head to the object menu, path, and offset path. The offset path will allow you to create a larger or smaller, depending if you're adding a positive or a negative number to your shape. So to offset the outline of your shape. And I'm going to give you an idea because that's pretty much of the final result already. So if you start with something like perhaps 20, you see that we have so many elements that are still disconnected. We have this little butterfly and candy. They're not touching each other. That's not, we really want to bring everything together in one single sticker, and we want to make sure that we remove any holes. So we're just going to create a perfect file for our printer. So make sure to just create an increment that will allow you to do that. What I'm doing, I'm pressing the top arrow on my keyboard until I can see that all the elements are now merged together by this offset path. And if you are following along and by any chance your work is starting to look all pointy and weird, and we have so many different strokes that do not really represent the nice and smooth curve that belong to the illustration, click on the down pointing arrow where it says joint and make sure to change the joint from meter to round. This will allow you to retain a lovely rounded edges around your outline. When you're done, make sure always to click on preview to see the changes happening live. And when you're done, click on OK. And now, one more time, let's go ahead to Pathfinder and unite our shape in order to create one single shape out of the one that we created before. And then use the shortcut Command Shift left bracket. That will be Control Shift left bracket to bring it to the back. Now we still see a full white background because remember, we first created the first shape with the white element. So all we have to do here is to delete it and make sure to go ahead and delete it, all the rest of the white element. And we can now, bring it to the back. And now that we brought it to the back, you can see that we have our lovely illustration contained inside a white border that is has the same expanded shape and the same movement, the same outline of our illustration. This will allow us to create a lovely sticker. And of course, just one more thing, I got 1 minute and then we're gonna be passing it to you, to Jesús. I use sticker usually to promote myself. Sticker are a fantastic way for you to also network, to share with people, especially when they have featured this lovely illustration. So in this case, if I was Joshua, what I will do is simply press the letter T in order to activate the type tool, and then click and drag to create a type box, and make sure to give it a nice big size, perhaps something like 60 will work here. And then maybe give it your Behance profile. So let me go ahead and actually give it a shout to Joshua Behance profile, which is behance.net/xjosh2k6x. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy his Behance profile, and then I'm gonna head back into Illustrator and paste it. And here it is. Is ready to be sent to the printer. It contains his Behance profile, so whenever he's gonna share his sticker with the world, or sticker anywhere, or send it to his followers, people will have access directly to his Behance. Of course, here you can use your Instagram handle, your Twitter, or your website. But when you create a sticker, don't forget to put your name, or even better, a call to action for people to get in touch with you. It's like better than a business card. And that's it for today in Illustrator. So Jesús, I think we're right and ready to jump into Photoshop.
Okay, sounds good. You can jump right in, and you know what?
Did you find the Creative Live by any chance?
The link, yeah, it's on. I have it here ready to. I thought I had it ready to go. Tim posted it in the chat. Actually, Lisa posted it in the chat, and then Tim has a clickable link, and I have it here ready to go as well. So,
beautiful. We're now on your screen.
We're now on my screen, yeah. So this is your new class, Ignite Your Business Marketing Kit in Adobe Illustrator. And you can check out your class. Look at that, 267 students and 100% recommended this class. Amazing. So you can come and check out Kladi here on Creative Live. Earlier, Tim posted a live link to the chat. And we were talking about Lisa and Josh. And I don't know if you got an opportunity to show Josh's Behance. But in case you didn't, I have it right here. So this is it right here. Josh does some amazing work. He's a digital graphic artist from the Philippines, and you can see all the fantastic work that he's done. So I would highly recommend that you follow Josh. And I'm sure I pasted the link earlier in the chat. It's not clickable, but I'm sure Tim will make it clickable if he hasn't already. And also, some of you, we were just talking about our friend Lisa. She's been a streamer here on Adobe Live several times. I actually hosted her once, I believe. And this is the kind of work that Lisa creates. I'm a big Marvel fan, so the fact that she got to work on the Spider-Man Far From Home poster is super cool to me. And actually, if you scroll down and see some of her work, Lisa was working with Marvel characters way back in the day. So it looks like, Lisa, you worked in the Blade film. And, you know, for those of you that know, that's probably like one of the first real big Marvel movies ever made. So even though I don't think it was advertised as a Marvel movie, but the point is that Lisa has some fantastic work. So you should definitely check her out. And her website is lisacarney.com. And you can even search on Adobe Live, because Lisa and I did a 2 days of streaming where we made movie posters, like right when the pandemic was first starting, actually. Cool. Oh, and actually, I'm going to feature today Ferry Utuomo, who is in the chat. And Ferry, let me pull up your, I should have had it ready. I apologize. Your Behance profile so people could see you. Ferry, I like how, you know, Ferry has been with us for, you know, close to a year since we started the show, and he's always submitting. And Lisa's saying Blade was 100 years ago. Yeah. But anyway, so right now I'm looking for Ferry's, or actually, Claudia, if you can find
sure,
it,
that's what
we'll show it after. Yeah, thank you. But Ferry, thank you for submitting another project. So this is what Ferry's original project looked like. And he basically has this donut, and it says Rocabana. So it's fantastic. Now, Ferry, what I wasn't sure about is if you designed everything or just the text, just because I basically got a flat layer from you. So I wasn't really sure if you just took a stock photo and added the text or not. So I figured we would just work with it anyway. So since there's a couple of things that we can definitely work on this image that I think will help us improve it and also teach a lot of different concepts. So what I'll do now is I'll clear these guides, because those guides really were not there to begin with. And what I'm going to do first is just to save time, because you've seen me do this so many times on Rework It, just create vector shapes out of pixel layers. Instead of using pixel, base shapes, I like to use vector based shapes. So I made this using the ellipse tool, and the way that this works is you just click on the ellipse tool, you select shape, and under this drop down, you can select like new layer, click and drag, and you make your circle, and then you select you create another another one. So let me just make one more here.
So,
And there
sorry
it
to
is.
interrupt you, but I got a few things to say. So it looks like Lisa just finished the Venom 2 poster, so stay
Ooh,
tuned.
ooh,
That's
nice.
so exciting.
Still working with Marvel and Spider-Man characters. I like that.
And then I got ready here, Fairy Behance. So I'm just gonna switch super quickly before you get working, because we love to give
Yeah.
shout out to people. So here it is. That's Fairy Uomo. Behance. Make sure to head on behance.net/Fairy Uomo and give it a follow. And that's me giving him a follow as well. And have a look at his wonderful composites. Ooh, Fairy, that's so beautiful. We have like a fish around the Big Ben. That's so gorgeous. Well done. Very amazing work, Fairy. Go ahead and check him out.
Yeah.
You are working hard. Well done. Fantastic, Jesus. Sorry for the interruption. We're
Yeah.
back.
Maybe Lisa could just send us a link to the screenshot of the Venom poster, and we can do the teaser here on Adobe Live, exclusive on Adobe Live. I'm sure Sony and Marvel would love that. But anyway, so now that I have the inner vector shape selected, all you need to do is just switch it over into subtract from shape, and it makes that hole. So that's basically how I created that donut. So, and then I added layer styles, and the way that I did that is I just went in and just created an inner shadow, not an inner shadow, I'm sorry, an inner glow. And the reason that I used an inner glow, not an inner shadow, is because the inner shadow gives you this, cool looking 3D effect, but it doesn't really give me like the same, all around glow that I want. And an inner glow does that just fine. And just because the label says glow, it doesn't mean that you can't use it as a shadow. So for example, this says inner glow, but all you need to do is change the blending mode to normal, and then you can adjust the size and then, make it feel more rounded, give it a little more depth and dimension. Now, the reason that I redid the donut was because the original donut I felt had this really strong shadow here, and at least to my eye that didn't look good. So I felt like, something more subtle like that would look better. And obviously mine's a little darker, but anyway, the reason that I really wanted to work with this particular example is so we can talk a little bit about typing on a path. I don't think we've covered that in Rework It, so I think it would be a good opportunity to show you guys how this tool works. So first of all, I need to create a path that goes perfectly around this donut. And one of the ways to do that is just by selecting the move tool and making sure that I have show transform controls active, and I can just press Control R on Windows, Command R on the Mac to enable my rulers. And I can click and drag a guide, and it will snap to the edges or the center of the layer. See that? And this is happening because I enabled show transform controls here in the options bar. And then I can click and drag this down, and then now I have the center selected. And let me just delete these layers because they're just too much and I don't need them at the moment. But basically what I can do now is disable the show transform controls because I don't need them anymore. And with the ellipse tool, I can select path from the options bar. So I can just create a path right from the center here. I can just click and drag. If you hold Alt on Windows, Option on the Mac, you'll scale from the center. If you hold Shift, you'll constrain the circle into a perfect circle. And now I can just decide where the baseline for my text will be. We'll call that good. And now that I have a path going around my text layer, I can just select my horizontal type tool and just click directly on it. And when you see that squiggly line, see if I'm right here, the type tool has this bounding box or this square going around it. But if I move closer to the path, that square disappears and you'll see a squiggly line. Once you see that squiggly line, you can just click, and that's when you can start typing on your path. And oops, I guess I didn't do that right because, or something's going on. Whoopsie daisy, something happened. Why is my Photoshop not working? Oh, there you go, Photoshop crashed. Fantastic. That's why it wasn't working. So yeah, Photoshop crashes from time to time. So all you have to do is just restart it and we'll continue where we were. We're probably going to have to create the path again, but that's okay.
It looks so like you spent too much time playing on Adobe Color.
Yeah, I was playing on Adobe Color and then overloaded the system. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so there it is. It came back. It's a recovered PSD. So I don't think I'll have that path, but we'll see what happens. It'll take just a second. And I'm trying to see the chat and seeing if there's any questions or comments
I was
right
actually
before we...
messaging Stefan Booth because I've got his submission. I was like, fire, fire, fire. Super excited. Make sure to share your submission on iamkladi.com/rework it. We're super excited to see your work coming through, especially during the live. I get super excited to see those emails coming, so keep them coming.
Keep them coming. All right, so I'm just going to make the path really quick again. Just because, you know, Photoshop crashed, but there we go, baseline. And with the, I'll double click on the hand tool to fit it to screen so we have more room to work with. I'll select the horizontal type tool, and then when I see that squiggly line, I can type. There we go. So I'm just gonna type Adobe Live, you know, for now. And I don't want them to be all caps. So from the properties panel, I can just click on this button and remove the all caps. There we go, Adobe Live. Now, this is the one thing that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people usually, you know, once they have this, they'll do something like select the move tool, press Control T, Command T to transform and rotate the text. And, you know, sure, that can work, but there's actually more efficient ways to work with the path and the text if you know how the tool works. So first of all, when you have the horizontal type tool selected, right now, I'm just going to set the text to align to the left. And I'll show you why in a moment, because these alignment controls will give you different options. If you select the path selection tool, you notice how there's this little arrow thing when I hover over the path. See that? And I can click and drag. See that? See how I'm moving that? So basically this point right here is my start point. So I can, if I wanted it to start right there, right on that, you know, quadrant there, I can do that. See how I'm just clicking and dragging. So wherever this little icon is, that's where the text starts. And I can give it an endpoint. The endpoint is right here. See that? I can move it over and I can say, well, the text will end here. And obviously it hides the text that it goes over because, you know, that's where you're telling Photoshop to end. So if we only wanted to, you know, maybe have the text come in like end right here in between these two lines, and then this one start here in between these two lines, we can do that like so. Then the text is too large, so we can select the text layer and then go into the size box here and then just use like the down arrow key to like reduce the size. If you hold shift, it goes in smaller increments, and then you can just keep fine-tuning it accordingly until the text actually fits on that area. That's why it's really important to you know, set these start points, and I can just move them anywhere that I want. I mentioned earlier that these points change depending on which of these options you have set. So if I do center text, watch what happens now. When I select the path selection tool and I click and drag on this, actually, there we go. This is what I wanted to show you. See how there's a center point now right here, right in the middle? See that right here where the E is? So then I can decide where the center will be. So I can just, you know, make these points completely full here. So the start point and ending point are in the same area. And all I really need to worry about is where my center point is. See that line right next to in between the letter B and the letter E? So now I can just say, okay, I want my center to be here, or my center to be here. And it just allows you to totally control the text on that path. Also, if you are rotating something like I was doing there, but then you drag down or inward, what you'll do is you'll put the text inside of that circle. See that? So it totally depends on how you want to align your text. And I can press Control T, Command T to transform and scale the path. So right now I'm not scaling the text, I'm scaling the path. See that? See how the text didn't scale? It didn't get any larger. All I did was make the path where the text is sitting at bigger, so the text has now more room to spread out. And you know, you can just keep working with this accordingly and just set it, you know, any way that you like. So I think that by understanding how the tool works, it gives you much more flexibility of how the text is going to be applied to the design that you're working on. Any questions in the chat?
Yes, I was just waiting for you to pause to ask you a few questions. So
yeah,
one's related to the chat right away from Carol, and I had a question myself as well. So far, everything that you said, it looks like exactly like Illustrator. So Carol was asking, is exactly like the same in Illustrator? I would say yes so far. Although, as I have a question, in Illustrator, you can hold the command or control when you drag in order to prevent your text to go from inside or outside. So if you're dragging around and hold control, it will just keep it on one single side and it will prevent to swap. Will that happen? Does that happen in Photoshop as well?
No, right now I'm actually holding control and doing that, and it's not. It goes inside.
Okay. So it's almost like Illustrator.
Almost like Illustrator.
And then I have another question, which me and
Yeah.
Ferry were talking about it. So Ferry was mentioning that this is actually an Illustrator Photoshop cross-app project that he created.
Oh,
And
cool.
he actually leveraged the assets through his Creative Cloud library. So I told him, hey, why don't you share with us the Creative Cloud library? And he doesn't know to do that. And it looks like other people don't know how to do that. Would you please show us how to share a library from your app?
Sure. So from Photoshop, you can go into the libraries panel, as Claudia was saying earlier. If you don't know how to bring out if I'm working on a panel and you don't see it, you can go into the window menu, and this is where all the panels live. You can see the libraries panel here. It's got a little check mark, which means that it's here somewhere. But if it wasn't, I can go into window and select libraries, and that comes up. So then I can enable excuse me, I can enable, this one says Adobe Live or Creative Live, Adobe Live. I'm gonna use, oh, these are the ones that I did with Lisa. Yeah, these are some of the, I think these are the ones I did with
No,
Lisa.
I think we did
No?
that. I think I was asking you for that.
Oh,
one.
you did that one with me? Okay. Yeah, oh, that's right. I did two composite ones, one with you and one with Lisa. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that when you're here, you can go and select on the flat menu. I thought it was in here somewhere. Now I don't see it. Invite people, and then you can invite people to your creative library here, and this will come up, and you can see what that looks like there. So you would just put in the person's email. You got to use their Adobe ID, of course, and you can just click on the invite button, and then the person can either edit or view the library. So it's right here, just on the flyout menu. Invite people. That's all you need to do, and it will come up on your Creative Cloud library, the window.
And by the way, it's exactly the same on for Illustrator. I think as soon what was happening was you had the Creative Cloud app opening because we didn't see anything. We didn't.
Yeah, I had Oh, okay. Yeah, the Creative Cloud app opens, and you just put in the email in the box.
Yeah, fantastic. That's it. Super easy.
Yep, very, very simple. And if I'm not mistaken, you could probably do it from. Let me just double check before I say something.
You can do it from the website. You can do it from the Creative Cloud.
That's what I was gonna say. Let me just see if you can do it from, and I'll bring the window over if I can do it. But if you go into assets.adobe.com, you can see all your assets tied to your Creative Cloud account, and from there, so it looks like you can do it. So let me show you. So I'm at assets.adobe.com, and then there's this libraries tab right here. When you click on that, you'll see all your libraries that are in Photoshop and all the other different apps. And then when you hover over one of the libraries, you can see this little 3-dot icon. When you click on that, there is a share option, and actually this one has a link, so you can even generate a link, and you can just email that link to people, or you can invite somebody directly by clicking on the invite button. So with the invite button, you just put in the person's email there, and with the link, you generate a link. See that link right here? And then you can apply these settings to allow the person to save to their Creative Cloud library or to follow the library. So you can just copy this link and then just send it to somebody, or like post it on your website if you like. I've actually done one of these links for, where is it? I don't remember where it is, but one of my tutorials on YouTube references one of this library right here. No, is this one right here. I made a tutorial on skin tones, and just to like show people the skin tones that I was using, I made this library, and then I shared that link on my website so people can click on it and then, select these colors if they want.
That's so awesome.
Cool. The question from Christine is, in order to invite people to share the library, they have to be an Adobe CC user, right? Yeah, they have to have access to the Creative Cloud to access the library. Because like Photoshop 6, CS6 doesn't have the libraries panel, for example.
Yeah, and that's exactly where your library is going to be. So when you share or receive an invitation, it usually happens inside your Creative Cloud app, and you will have like a little bell with the invitation, and once you accept it, the library will automatically display inside your Creative Cloud library, which means that it's available throughout your Creative Cloud apps, which is fantastic.
So I'm seeing a question, but I'm not sure if I understand it. And maybe I'm not sure if Nick, you're referring to something else. Claudia, I don't know if you see that question. Does that affect non-embedded images? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
So, well, the most important thing that I want to say here is that embedded or not embedded images are images that are part of your document, and in order to attach and link the image to your document, you need to embed it, so every time that you open your document, the image comes with it. Now, when you place your image inside your creative library, this is not the same image, and that's exactly the same for vectors. So if we save a vector from any Illustrator document inside the Creative Cloud library, it still saves it as a vector and as an Illustrator graphic, but that will not be the original one. In fact, it creates a Creative Cloud assets, a standalone document, and that's the same for the images. So it's got nothing to do with embedded or not embedded images, because in the moment in which you place your assets inside the Creative Cloud, that's a brand new asset that you got always available for you to use throughout your Creative Cloud. So it completely detaches from anything that is on your machine. Hope that's helped.
Yeah, and also, I mean, adding to that, if you use that asset on multiple projects, and you have that, for example, let me show you. I don't know. I can just drag like one of these images. I guess I can drag an image in here, and you'll notice that when I place that photo here, we have this little cloud icon here on the bottom right. So that means that this image is actually linked to the Creative Cloud. If I were to go in here and change this image in any way, then I would change the linked asset because it's linked to the Creative Cloud. See that little Creative Cloud icon here? So that's the one way that something would be embedded, you know, quote unquote. I mean, I guess it is embedded since you're bringing it in from the library. But as Kladi said, that wouldn't affect any files that you have saved in your computer that were not part of the linked asset.
So can people edit a file at the same time? We do have the opportunity to share for review and edit files. I know that that's an option that is already live on XD, is already live on InDesign. I don't know. I know that a lot of related things is coming up soon. But we'll see what happens. But that's the direction where all the amazing people at Adobe are working towards. Currently, you cannot edit, so you need to make sure to save different versions or to share your Creative Cloud documents. And Jesus, why don't you please, I'm sorry, I know that I'm being like a pain
Yeah,
today.
no worries. No. We want to answer as many questions as possible.
But why don't you show us how to save your document in the Creative Cloud, since we're talking about these amazing features of Creative Cloud, and I think that's related to the question. So if you want to work on the same file, the best option is to save your document as a cloud document, and you can do that directly from your save panel.
Yeah, so there's two things you can do. So for example, let's just assume that, you know, we're super happy with this design, even though I don't like the text. We're super happy with this design, and you want to save it into your cloud. There's two things you can do. I mean, it's not even that old way, but you can still do it this way. You can just put everything into a group and then drag it into your library. And actually, I'll call it like donut or something. Donut, and I can drag that in there. And now I have my donut design in here. So this is actually like a, you know, like a regular Photoshop document. I can open it here by clicking on this little pencil icon, and it opens up, and you can see this whole stuff here. And you see how the layers were cropped and all that. It's all there. So that's one way that you can do it. But the better way, which is what Kladi was describing just a few moments ago, is that you can go into File, Save As, and then under Save As, there's this button that says Save to Cloud Documents. When you click on that, this window comes up, and then you can save it as a document that's saved in the cloud. And these are some of the documents that I've saved in the cloud previously. And when you click on, I'll do that. I'll just save it on here. When I click on that, you'll notice that there's one big change with the Photoshop document. Notice the tab. You see the tab here? Notice that little cloud icon right here on the left next to the file name. That means that that document lives in the cloud. And cloud documents have a lot of advantages. For example, let me open up a different one. I'm going to go into Open. And I'm just going to open this one. This is a composite that I made here on Adobe Live, actually. I think I made that one with you, correct, Kladi? You were
Yes, I was listening.
Yeah, so with this document, oh my God, I'm blanking out here. Version history. You have this option called version history right here under window. And that brings up the different versions of this document. So every time I save this document, you can see that there's a different version. See that? So I can go into this one, for example, and you can see now that this version has a different color. See that? And if I wanted to open that, I can click on this 3-dot icon and just open in a new tab. So that will open up that version of the document, the older version of the document if I want to. So you have version histories. And I think the version histories, if I'm not mistaken, they're kept for 30 days unless you, yeah, it says right here, end of history. Version expires after 30 days, except if you mark them. So you can click on this little icon here, and that means you're saving or you're marking that particular version of the file so they won't be deleted. So you can see that this one I haven't bookmarked yet, so it'll be deleted after some time, or I can click on it here and now it's saved and it will not be deleted, and I can give it a name. So I'm just going to press the escape key to just exit out of that. And I can delete it permanently if I want to, and I'll delete it permanently since I don't really need that one. But I think you get the idea. You have the capability of looking at different versions of your Photoshop documents. So this is one way in which you can save your documents to the cloud. Now, these documents are not necessarily in your library. Oh, Kladi, I think we got cut off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can finish off because with
okay. So, yeah. Anyway, guys,
we got really carried away talking about the Creative Cloud.
Yeah, we got so carried away talking about the Creative Cloud. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed this Rework It, and we'll be back again in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Kladi, any final words for today?
Just thank you so much, and make sure to submit your file. We look forward to see you on the next Rework It. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.